Welcome back to Max Reaction. How are you doing today? Let me know down below. If you're new to the channel, let me know where you're from. I'm so interested. Tell me a little bit something about you if you want to, because you can learn a lot about me through my videos and some of my vlogs and stuff like that, live streams. Let me know a little bit about you. But for now, we're going to do a reaction. We're going to do a reaction on the heroines of the Philippines, our Philippines. So, we all know there's many heroes throughout the Philippine history. So let's see if we learn anything new here. I'm sure we will. I learn something new about the Philippines every single day, whether I make a video or not. That's what happens when you live and married and you're in love and you have children with a Filipina. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Our Philippines.
Like to start.
Please hit the subscribe button and notification bell.
Yes,
So
sir.
you'll always be updated with Our Philippines.
And mine
The
too.
heroines of the Philippines and facts you probably didn't know about them. When people are asked about our national heroes, it's always Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio,
Right.
Emilio Aguinaldo,
Right.
or General Luna.
Right.
But within the either unwritten or unread pages of history books and in the achievement of the country's freedom are heroines that aided and led some of the most significant battles for the Philippines' independence.
A lot of ladies helping
Gabriela
independence.
Silang. Gabriela Silang is not only the first Filipina who led a revolution against foreign conquerors.
I've heard about her.
But she's also a woman whose husband, Diego Silang, not only recognizes her as his wife, but also his equal. Silang is probably the most prominent heroine in a gentleman-dominant list of national heroes.
That statue makes her look vicious, and I'm sure back then it was a hard life. It was a hard life, especially leading what she was leading. So, you know, I wouldn't want to be on her bad side. I wouldn't want to be against her. And it's awesome that her husband, even way back then, treated her as an equal, because we are all equal. No matter what the race is, no matter what the gender is, we're all human beings and we're all equal. So that's awesome that even back then, and maybe it's because she had a sword, I don't know. Just kidding. But it's awesome that she was an equal to him.
When her husband was assassinated, Gabriela bravely took his position as a commander. Her name was feared by the Spaniards because of her relentless guerrilla attacks against their army, leading the revolutionary forces of Ilocos, along with the Itneg people, to one of the longest battles against the Spaniards in history.
Impressive.
In their fight to liberate Vigan, she rallied over 2,000 men against 6,000 well-equipped Spaniards. Given the numbers and machineries the colonizers had, their fight was doomed to fail. She, along with her remaining army of 80 men, retreated to Abra, where they were eventually captured.
Oh no.
Before her hanging, she suffered a tragic punishment as a commander.
It just went worse. Her husband died. She fought a big battle, but it was overwhelming. And now she got hung. It's just, you know, good people throughout history that's trying to do something good for their people and good usually end up in a bad way. Like Rizal, he ended up in a bad way, and just like she did. It's just, you fight and you believe in something so much you're willing to give your life for. And we need those type of people throughout history to achieve greatness and to achieve good things. You know what I'm saying?
Was made to witness her men's executions. Despite her unsuccessful wager against the Spanish colonizers, Gabriela remains to be a symbol of women's bravery,
Absolutely.
courage, and independence.
Absolutely.
An organization that fights for women's rights, Gabriela was directly named after her. There is also a monument dedicated to her along Ayala and Makati Avenue, one of a woman riding a horse and holding a bolo.
Very awesome.
Fun fact, Diego Silang is not Gabriela's first husband. Before meeting Diego, she was forced to marry an old, wealthy businessman. But 3 years into their marriage, the man died. Then her love story with the rebel Diego started. Proof that even powerful, independent queens has a thing for bad boys.
I guess so. But the forced stuff, forced anything, it's just garbage. Especially forced marriages. there's a lot of countries that still do that. Just no, that's just wrong. That's when you force a marriage on somebody, then you're not treating them as an equal as you. You know what I'm saying? And you're going against that person's will, and that just should be that's a crime against humanity, in my opinion.
Tandang Sora.
I don't know her.
When you pass by Tandang Sora Avenue in Quezon City, do you remember the heroine it was named after?
No.
A widow left with 6 children and a farm to tend, Melchora Aquino, or as the Katipuneros call her, Tandang Sora, was already a heroine before she was even called the mother of the Philippine Revolution.
How do I not know her if she's titled the mother of the Philippine Revolution? Wow. I'm excited to see what she did.
Opened her doors to Andres Bonifacio and his men. She provided them shelter and food, and nursed their wounded. When the Spanish authorities found out that she was aiding the freedom fighters, she was subjected to grueling interrogations. Despite that, she never breathed a word about the whereabouts of the Katipuneros.
Strong woman there.
She was later sentenced to exile and was deported to Guam for 6 years. In 1903, she was repatriated by the American government and was able to return to the country.
It's awesome that she got to go back, but I'm surprised the Spanish just didn't kill her. I'm surprised they just exiled her, because the Spanish was vicious back then.
She died at the age of 107 in 1919.
So she had a blessed life, you know. If she would have done those things, I don't think she would have ever lived 107 years old. But if you ever lived 107 years old, you must have done some really great things throughout your life to be blessed with that long of a life here on earth.
She was quoted saying, "If I had 9 lives, I would gladly give them up for my country."
That's a powerful
Her
statement.
remains lie in the mausoleum of the veterans of the Philippine Revolution at the Manila North Cemetery.
Impressive woman.
She was the first woman to be featured on the Philippine peso, with her portrait printed in 100 peso bills from 1951 to 1966.
I'll be damned. That's a great honor and a great achievement, you know, and well deserving.
Teresa Magbanua. If the Philippines is to have its own Joan of Arc, it would be Teresa Magbanua. In a period when women are expected to be submissive and quiet, Magbanua displayed an incredible stance that was ahead of her time, choosing to rise against these expectations and doing her own thing. According to her sister Paz, Teresa is always looking for action and fears no man. Coming from a prominent family, Teresa finished her studies at an exclusive school in Manila. She later married a wealthy man who owns farmlands. She wasn't just helping her husband manage the farm. She was also using it as a place to practice her marksmanship, particularly with pistols and rifles. When the Spaniards proceeded to conquer her province, Iloilo, and Magbanua heard that her 2 brothers joined the resistance, she begged her uncle General Perfecto Poblador to let her join the uprising, emphasizing her own skills in horseback riding and guns. Her uncle agreed. She led a number of battles that would later contribute to the success of the revolution in Visayas.
Awesome.
She became the commander of the Northern Zone and rallied groups of sharpshooters and skilled bolo men against the Spanish soldiers. During the U.S. invasion, Teresa Magbanua also joined the guerrillas to fight against American soldiers in Iloilo. When it was the Japan's turn to conquer the Philippines, Magbanua continued to fight for freedom, even selling all of her belongings just to fund the revolution. Fun fact, she was one of the few heroes who fought against all 3 main colonizers of the Philippines.
Can you believe that? She fought against all three colonizers of the Philippines. That's just mind-blowing to me, you know? And something that a lot of the men didn't do, you know, and couldn't do. Wow.
Spanish, American, and Japanese.
Wow, that's impressive.
Trinidad Texon. Another modern woman in her time was Trinidad Texon, a heroine who chose fencing over the society-imposed embroidery lessons for girls.
Good for her.
That in itself is already a revolution. But more than refusing to bend to the standards set by the earlier times, Trinidad is a warrior that fought for the country's independence. She was the first Filipina to undergo the Sandugu initiation. an act of joining the Katipunan by signing one's name with his or her own blood.
Okay, they had the blood poured in cups. I wasn't sure if they were going to drink it or what they were going to do with it. I guess it was just to capture it. Like, then if they were going to drink it, then I guess she would have been like the first woman vampire too, but that wasn't the case. Just signing blood. Okay, I got you.
One of the most significant battles she joined is the Battle of Biak na Bato, where she, along with her husband, guarded the fort's entrance. They successfully prevented the attack, and she was later named the Mother of Biak na Bato. She's also recognized as the Mother of Philippine Red Cross, as she used to help wounded Filipino soldiers during the uprisings.
Very important
Fun fact,
person.
Trinidad Texon had a knack for stealing firearms. Whenever her troops lacked guns, she proceeds to steal from guards in courthouses or prisons. When caught, the witty heroine would get her way out by pretending to be dead. That right there is the kind of drama queen we should stand.
Master thief.
Magdalena Lioness. Magdalena Lioness is probably one of the lesser-known heroines in Philippine history.
What'd she do?
Her journey as a freedom fighter started in the Second World War. She was studying to become a nun when she and fellow missionaries were captured and imprisoned after the Bataan's fall. During her imprisonment, she learned Nipongo on her own, gaining a skill she later utilized to save Filipino evacuees. When they were caught, she talked to the Japanese soldiers and pretended they just came from a wedding. She later encountered Colonel Russell Volkman of the United States Armed Forces in the Philippines, North Luzon. She was offered to be a spy, and despite knowing the risk and danger it would entail, Lioness agreed.
So this lady, she went from gonna become a nun to being a freaking spy. Like, what an amazing life. You know, what I wish we knew the full story of exactly what happened, because you know it would be a mind-blowing story.
She played a key role in gaining important intelligence, radio parts, and even medical supplies, with her church connections and Nihongo skills proving to be an advantage. Due to her fearless contribution, she earned the title Lioness of Filipino Guerrilla Agents. Lioness was the only Asian woman to have been awarded a Silver Star in the World War II by the United States.
That's badass.
It is the third highest award exclusive to combat valor and fifth in military awards. Fun fact, Lioness was an efficient spy, and it was partly due to her eloquence. When captured, she would just sweet-talk her way out of her jailers. Josefa Llanes Escoda, a social worker and advocate for women's right for suffrage.
She's very pretty.
Josefa Escoda was the founder of Philippine Girl Scouts. She was an activist with an impressive academic achievement under her belt. She earned a high school teaching certificate from the University of the Philippines. Then studied social welfare programs at the New York School of Social Welfare. She later earned a master's degree in sociology from Columbia University. Escoda was executed when the Japanese government found out she and her husband were helping war prisoners and women and children afflicted by the war. Fun fact.
I wasn't expecting her to get assassinated. That's horrible and terrible, but you know, the founder of women are the Girl Scouts of the Philippines. That's awesome. She gave a lot of girls hopes and dreams and visions of what to be and what to become. So a very important person in Philippine history. A hero.
Aside from being one of the featured national personalities in the 1,000 peso bill, Escoda's 120th birth anniversary was celebrated by Google in 2018.
Awesome.
The company made a Google doodle of her, Agueda Kahabagan. It's sad that Agueda Kahabagan's name and deeds are unknown to a lot of Filipinos. During her time, she was the only female general listed in the Army of Filipino Republic. She is best known for fighting in the 3-day Battle of San Pablo, Laguna. She fought together with General Pio del Pilar in Southern Tagalog Battle and was given the title Generala. Fun fact, Agueda once led an army in a battle, riding a horse, dressed in white, with a rifle on one hand and a bolo in another. Mulan Wu, we have our own warrior princess here. If you think this video is helpful, please hit the subscribe button.
I think it was very helpful. I think every Filipina should watch a video like this to know what women throughout the Philippine history did and have done, and how important it was to even today's time, bringing independence. I mean, and giving your life to do it. That's a hero. That's a hero. That is an absolute hero, and it's just awesome. So I learned a lot in this video, a ton about these ladies, these women, these heroes, these heroines. Learned a lot. If you have anything to add, comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.